Okay, good night. Good night to, first of all, good night to those persons who are currently viewing on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for stopping by at CDP Labs YouTube channel. And of course, we will continue our class. We continue with our class on trigonometry, where we gave the students some more video tutorials to watch for in preparation for the classes. And of course, we'll be just want to say thanks as well to our 706 subscribers who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. I hope that this season will be no different, but even better than the other nights. I hope you'll be blessed, of course, and I hope you'll have learned something. And I sincerely hope that you would have benefited, 100%. So, of course, with our style, tonight we'll be going through trigonometry. We have some questions that we didn't complete, and we're going to be completing those questions shortly. So, of course, without any further ado, I just want to let you know how we do our thing here. Some of our in-class students are having difficulty with the weather. They're facing rain fall at this time, but of course we'll continue until a few join. So we have one student online in our Zoom so far. So we're going to start off with our usual. We hope that by good night, Indra. We hope that by tonight we will be able to complete everything on this trigonometry worksheet. And of course, we sincerely hope that by then our students will log on. Last year, though, we had a very exciting time where we had very interactive sessions where we included the Zoom and our YouTube personals. They were busy challenging each other and on our quiz. So of course, I would bring in that quiz component, of course. We'll be bringing that quiz component, of course, back to CDPLABS Eduservices in preparation for your exam. So I'm seeing about 4 or 5 persons on our YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I'm going to ask that you subscribe to the channel that you can respond to questions in the chat. So only our subscribers can respond to the questions. So of course, let's get ready. We must give God thanks for CXC to have given us the 3 weeks additional classes. I mean, as well, 3 weeks additional classes, in fact, but 3 weeks preparation time. I think some persons may not feel pleased about that, but the truth is, I think many of us needed that additional time. However, getting that additional time is good, but the big question is, will you make use of it? Certainly, CDPLABS Eduservices will be making use of these 3 weeks for sure. Definitely, we'll be bringing on back our human and social biology program that we had last year. We got 100% pass, and of course, it was wonderful. So we give God thanks for that. And talking about giving God thanks for that, it is our style to begin our session with devotion. And so first of all, we're going to play our theme song for tonight. And of course, we must give God thanks, for his goodness, that, he continues to give us. So without any further ado, then we have to listen to our theme song. I'll pray, and of course, we will go to our devotional reading, and then we get into the classes. So let's listen to this theme song.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You will lead me through the fire, and in darkest night, you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God, yeah. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God, yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. And all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. Oh, gosh, 'cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. With every breath, oh, for all my days.
Okay, let us pray. We just want to give God thanks for the goodness of God. And I just want to tell you this before we pray, that we can, there are a lot of testimony that I can give to show that you can actually trust God. You can trust God at his words, and I have personal testimonies that I can share to let you know that indeed we can indeed trust God. I have, well, my daughter, of course, is a testimony. I always, speak about her situation. Of course, she had stage 4 cancer, and when she was between ages 2 and 3. And of course, you know, today this time she's now 10 years old as cancer survivor. And of course, she has given her life over to God. She has been baptized. And that's how God works. So don't worry about anything. Just pray and make your request known to God. And of course, indeed, he will answer your prayers according to his will. Let us pray. Most kind and loving and righteous and heavenly Father, we take this opportunity to give you thanks for sparing our lives. And thank you, dear Lord, for the additional 3 weeks that you have given the students to be much more comfortable and much more ready in preparation to do their exams. I pray that they take these 3 weeks serious, that you will help them to be perfectly ready, and that they will, as they do this exam and they recognize that it was because of you, your goodness, why they're able to be successful. So may their success bring honor and glory to your name. So glorify your name now in their quest to pass their exams. And may this session be productive and bring honor and glory to your name. Be with every student now. Just let me pray. Amen. All right, so we'll go straight now to our devotional reading. Of course, we'll go to our devotion. So our devotion here is taken from the book of Proverbs. And tonight I will just look at 2 verses, verse 5 and verse 7. So we're looking at verse 5 and verse 7. And of course, verse 5 says, a wise man or woman will hear and will increase learning. So it is very important to listen, very important to observe, you know. So when you listen, you'll increase learning. So listening is very important to learning something, but learning not just to hear it, but to hear and to do. That's what we call listening. And a man of understanding shall attain unto what? Wise counsel. So if you have any wisdom, if you're a man of understanding or a woman of understanding, of course you'll attain unto wise counsel. And our final verse for our scripture reading is coming from same Proverbs 1 verse 7. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You want maths knowledge? You want knowledge? Fear God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So throughout the rest of your life, if you want to be aware, you want to have understanding, seek God, fear him, and he will give you knowledge. Thank you very much for listening to our devotional segment. And of course, we're going to go straight into our worksheet. So we'll go into the worksheet right now. And we're going to go straight into the worksheet and start our lesson for today. All right. So we're going to go straight into our worksheet now. Okay. So we were at, the last time we were on this worksheet, we were at, let me see if I can increase. Oh, my bad. Good night to all. My sincere apologies. Good night to every student in our Zoom session. May I say good night to Alexis Ford, Lexi? Good night. Good night, Lexi.
Good night, sir.
Okay. Good night, Indra. Yeah, you have now become a resident now. Good night, Miss Plummer. Good night. Indra, good night. Indra. Indra, your mic muted, so if you're
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. Have a pleasant good night, man. Good night, Indra. Good night, good night, good night.
Good night, my lovely teacher.
Oh, thank you very much, my lovely student, or one of my lovely students. Okay, then. Good night, Kimora. Kimora, good night.
Good night, sir, and classmates.
Okay, wow. And of
Good
course,
night, India.
All right. Good night, Makeda. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, everyone.
All right. Very good. And of course, Tracian, good night. Mrs. Wall, good night. Tracian? Tracy? All right, good night, Tracian. All right, and of course, I know that Miss Evans has a mic issue, but of course, good night to you as well, Miss Evans. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to move straight into our worksheet. And of course, we did cover the part that we looked at the distance of BG. So we're going to now move to the last part of the question. Then we go into another question. The last part of the question says, calculate the nearest degree, the bearing of G from B. So here was the actual question. So this time they want us to calculate the bearing of G from B. The bearing of G from B. Now let's look at the question again. Let's look at the question again. So calculate to the nearest degree the bearing of G from B. So the big question is, how do we do this? I know you're probably scratching your heads now. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. But of course.
So whenever did this already?
No, we did not calculate part 3 of the question. We didn't look at. Yes, so look at the part 3 of the question. No, it says, of course, it's asking us now to calculate the bearing of G from B. Now, can somebody tell me, explain to me, how would you start this thing, the bearing of G from B? How would you start it? Anyone? I like when my students participate in the solution. I don't want to be giving away all the answers. All right. And persons also who are watching us live from the YouTube channel, you can also participate, but make sure that you subscribe. All the subscribers can participate in the chat. All right. Yes. How would you approach a question like this? I don't want to give it away just like that. Well, just tell me, how would you approach a question like this? How would you do it? Anyone? And remember, I told you before last week, what was the secret that I gave the class the last time we came on? What was the secret? What were you supposed to do to see if you could get the answer accurate to this?
Use a protractor.
Yes, in one response, we are supposed to use a protractor. Why do we use a protractor? Use a protractor to do what?
Accurate.
Yeah, but what is it? What is behind it? The idea here is to draw it to what? Scale.
Yeah.
To draw it to scale, right? That's the idea. So we have to draw it to scale. Good. So once you draw it to scale, you'll be able, very much able to find that bearing. Now, before we go to our protractor, I think we'll work out the distance for this already. Does anybody have the answer for it? The distance for here? Does anybody have the distance for this? Did anybody record the distance for it? Can you check your notes to let me know what was the distance we came up with? Anybody have the answer for it? No?
Sir, when did he work out this? Last week?
No, I think the week before. Kimora, do you have it?
Sir, which for this question I, sir, AI?
No, AI2, part 2.
The answer was 69.7 kilometers. That was the answer to 1 decimal places.
69.7 kilometers. Okay.
Yeah, kilometer 1.2. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, excellent. So we're going to use two methods that we can use to figure it out. So let me write down that that answer quickly. So it was 69. What was it again? 69?
69.7.
0.7 kilometers. All right. Now, there is a method that we can use. So note now we're trying to find the bearing of G from B. Now, the bearing, and I want you to think, I want you to talk to me now. Come on, talk to me now. The bearing of G from B. Which point are we going to start from? The bearing of G from B. Which point are we going to start from?
B.
We're going to start from the point B. So of course, they already have a north line there, so we don't need to redraw the north line. Now, I want you to look good at the graph. I want you to think, come on, be confident in yourself. Now, whether you get it wrong or right, doesn't matter here. I mean, once we want, here at CDPLABS Eduservices, you must respond. Whether you want to think it wrong or right, just participate. That's the key. All right, look at the picture now. What do we have to find first in order to find the bearing? Anyone? We want to find the bearing. What do we have to find first? Anyone?
Sir, the angle?
Which angle? Yes, that was Makeda or Kimura.
Makeda.
Which angle? Which angle? Control the noise. And when we find that angle, what will we do with the angle, by the way?
Sorry, take away.
No. No. Try again, Indra. Anyone else? What we will do with the angle?
We had all the angles.
All right, Tracy, and some adding will be taking place, but which angle will be adding?
So what was the
You
question?
had the 42
Yes.
and you're going to add 103.
No. All right, but before I get to the question, I see Javon Barrett. Javon, could you tell us exactly what will we be adding? All right, so back to the question that Lexi asked. Lexi asked, what was the question? The question is, when we find the angle, we have angle B, F, and G. So which of the angles do we need to find first? Is it B, F, or G? And when we do find that angle, what are we going to do with the angle to arrive at the answer for the bearing of G from B? That's the question, Lexi.
Sir.
Yes, go ahead, Tracy.
All right. I'm going to send something in the chat and look if I'm right.
Okay, no problem. All right, Javon Barrett has given us the answer. You're very much correct, Javon. Well, let me hear what Tracy says. You gonna put it in the chat? Okay. See the chat comes up as it. Tracy says you're gonna put it in the chat. I'm not seeing it as yet, Tracy. So Javon has given us the correct response. Very good, Javon.
Did I add the 42 plus that?
But where do you get that from?
All right. You're going to say the 103. The 103 to get the angle at G. Remember, so we get the angle at F. We get part the angle at B. So to find that angle, you minus it.
What did you get the angle of G?
Get the angle of G. When you minus it, that you'd have got.
Yeah, but minus it from what?
A straight line equal to 120.
No, man, no. A straight line angle is 180. But
180, sorry.
No. All right, but that wouldn't be correct. All right. Anyone else want to try again before we get to the response? All right. Now, if you had drawn this is the reason why you must draw the diagram to scale, because if you did that, then it would have been easy for you to figure it out without thinking so hard. So drawing to scale does make sense. But remember now, the bearing will begin from the north line all the way to the line that lines up with B and G. See that? So therefore, you have this angle already, but you'd have to find angle B, which is right here. Make sense? So let me use a different color to show you. So you have to then find the angle right here, the other piece. So you have from here to here gives us the bearing. Good. But I already have the 42, but you have to find this angle right here. Everybody see that now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it comes on to the bearing exercise. You must draw the diagram to scale. Very important. All right, but good try, those who have participated. And of course, excellent response to Javon from YouTube. All right, so now that we have identified what we need to find out, and this is what I wanted to practice going through the rest of the days towards the exam. When you're practicing on the worksheets, etc., when you're practicing on the worksheets, it's very important that you ask yourself some questions. Question the information given. Don't just jump and try to calculate. Identify what you need to do to find this, to identify your answer or your solution, right? So we have to now go on the quest now to find this angle. So we have to now find out now how we're going to do it. Now, which trigonometrical principle would you actually use to find such an angle? Any ideas? Yes. Which trigonometrical principle would we use to find that particular angle? You were given some principles in last class. You were given 3 trig ratios. You were given sine rule and you were given cosine rule. Ah, Nastasia. Nastasia, wait a minute. Your brain at work tonight. The answer is sine rule. Yes, we will use a sine rule, most definitely. Very good, Nastasia. What's going on? What's going on? That's good, impressive. So we must use the sine rule, right? Very good, excellent. So what I'm using the sine rule. All right, so the sine rule, of course, as you know, it is A over sine A. Well, can we use something else? Let me use something else. Let me bring up my whiteboard. Permit me to bring it up, please. Let me bring up my whiteboard so we can make life much easier for us, right? All right, because the whiteboard will be much easier. All right, so let's bring up the whiteboard now. So to pay close attention to what we have there already. So I'll bring up the whiteboard. Where are we? So we're going to look for a whiteboard. So let's look at the whiteboard now, right? Now, so the sine rule is So we're using our sine rule, and the sine rule is as follows. So it will be common A over sine A which is equal to B, sorry, common B, and note that the common letters are the sides, all right? Over, and the capital letters represents the angle over sine B, which is angle B, that is, and then equal to just common C over the sine of the angle C. Okay, so that's the sine rule. All right. So we have our sine rule right there. Good. So we have our sine rule right there. So let me see if I can just share the screen so you can see everything all at once, right? So this is our board over this side. Good. All right. So we can then now use the sine rule. Well, let me fix this up. So it's supposed to be sine rule. Look, sine C. All right. So now we have an angle here which would relate to the 69.7. That's correct. 69.7. 69.7, right? Am I correct?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay, wonderful. 69.7. All right, so here we go now. 69.7. Hope I'm sharing the right thing. Doesn't look like I'm sharing the right thing. Doesn't look like I'm sharing the right thing. Okay, so let me just go back to this. All right, I wanted you to see the diagram, but that's okay. All right, so based on what we have there, which is 69 point, so we can use the length, the 69.7 with the 103, and of course the 55 with the angle that we need to find, which is angle B. Good. So let us then know. So, all right, then let us then say, okay. So we're going to use 55. Let's bring it up properly. 55, and that will go with sine, let's call it sine B. Going to find the angle. And then now that will then equal to and of course we know the length, which is 69.7, and of course the angle is 103. So we have our sine rule set up. So easy. So it is very much important then to identify, to understand first what you're looking for. And it was very good, Nastasia, because that's a difficult part of it, to identify which of the principles that you're supposed to use. So really, I must congratulate you for that. Very, very good, very good, very good, wonderful. All right, so we get to cross multiply from here. So cross multiply, so we can multiply this by that and this by that. Let's see what happens when we cross multiply now. So sine B comes like x, right? So the sine of B times 69.7 which is now,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, why do you have 55 over sine B?
Because the length is opposite. You look at the length is opposite to the angle when you're using the
Yes,
sine
sir.
rule.
Yes, but on my thing here, I put 55 for common A.
Oh, well, it doesn't
And
really
for
matter.
my okay.
It doesn't really matter. Because we're looking for angle B, I just use that. But once you have the 5 over the correct angle, then it's good to go. You understand?
All right.
It
Cool.
depends on how you named yours, that's why.
All right.
Good. All right. So 55 times the sine of 103 degrees. And so we have our equation set up that we're going to be using. Good. So we can work this side first. So sine of 103. So you can put in those other scientific calculators. You put in the sine first, depending on the type of calculator you're using. So sine 103 actually. So sine 103, and the sine of 103 is what? 0.97. 0.97. We're going to multiply that now by 55. Let me try that again. So the sine of 103 is 0.97. What is that now? 0.97. So let's duplicate this. And then we replace this now with the sine of 103, which is using 2 decimal places, 0.97. We'll multiply that now by 55. And let's see what we get. All right, let's see what we get. So 55 times 0.97 will give us 53.35. 53.35. 53.35. Now, our next step then is going to, we want to find sine B. Remember, that's what we want to find. So we're going to divide the 53.35 by 69.7. Good. We're going to divide the 53.35 by 69.7. So therefore then, we can safely say that that sine B is equal to sine B is equal to 53.35 divided by 69.7. All right, let's see what that is equal to. All right, so what is equal to? We're going to divide now that by 69.7. And therefore, our answer then, if you're going to use 3 decimal places, fine. In this case, 0.765. So that will be equal to 0.765 equal to 0.765. So is that the answer? Is that the angle of B? Anybody? Is that the angle of B? Is that the angle of B? Is that the angle of B? Anyone? Anyone? Is that angle B? Is that angle B? Anyone?
Sir,
Yeah, is that angle B?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what do we have to do with the 0.765 now to find that angle B?
Yeah.
What's the next step after that? Anybody? All right, the next step after that, while you're thinking, I mean, you should have done it. You should have attempted this question. That's why I got the worksheets before. So you should have attempted the question already. All right. So we have to then find the sine inverse to find angle B. To find angle B, we have to then now find the sine inverse of. We're to find the sine inverse of. And to find the sine inverse can be used as this. To find the sine inverse, but you're accustomed to it as this. Let me just use what you're accustomed to. So to find the sine inverse of sine inverse of 0.765. And then that will give you 0.765, and that will give you angle B. All right. All right. Good. Very good, Javon. That's how you said the inverse, sine inverse. Very good. So now, so the sine inverse of 0.765. So we got to put up that now. So for those who are using the calculator, you use the second function, sine, and the sine inverse sine will come up. So I go to second function, sine inverse. Let me make sure. Sine inverse, and I put in 0.765. And the answer that I get is 49.9 degrees. So angle B then is equal to 49.9 degrees. So I can write my degree thingy. So it's 49.9, sorry, 49.9 degrees. Good. That's angle B. But that is not the answer. So now we have to add now 42, 2. So the bearing now is equal to 42 degrees plus 49.9. And then that will give you your answer. Did anybody reach this far?
Not me.
Not you. How far did you reach, ma'am?
Sir, I skipped it, honestly.
You skipped it? You shouldn't have skipped it. You should have attempted it. You shouldn't give up.
I made an attempt, sir. And I skipped it because the answer wasn't coming out.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Come on, to practicing. You cannot give up. You have to just keep trying. I'm okay. Do you have a textbook?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you watch the videos, and let me tell you, you have to dedicate the time to this. You have to dedicate the time. You have to make the 3 weeks count. I know you're carrying X number of subjects, but we have to make the 3 weeks count, right? So guess what will happen right here now? Once you watch a video, make sure to have your textbook beside you. Or if you have the soft copy, make sure you have the textbook open. Because what you'll be doing though is to practice what you learned using the exercise or the activities given in the textbook. Then you go to the past for question, because you want to ensure that you reinforce your learning. Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep thinking about it. Keep trying. Spend time on it and keep trying, because that is the kind of energy that you need to have, where you just keep trying, right? Good. So that is that. All right, so there we have it for the finding the actual bearing of G from B. So technically what we did, well, first, let's just to go back over. What we did was first to find what approach we're going to use. So we discovered we need to use a sine rule. Secondly, we need to find out what we're going to add together, the 42 degrees and angle B. So then now we had to find angle B before we could do it in the form of addition. So we have now found angle B, we add it to the 42 degrees, and now we have our bearing. And that is the answer to the question. So those persons who tried it, there you go. Right? It takes a lot of thinking. Takes a lot of thinking. All right, good night to Suleng Cameron. Good night, Miss Cameron. Pleasant good night to you, ma'am. All right. I hope that students from Holy Trinity are indeed watching, because that we don't have to waste time in our face-to-face session trying to go back over this again. So it would be sensible to be here on the YouTube channel. To be sensible. All right. Very much sensible. All right. So now we're going to go back to the question. We're going to look at our second question, with whatever time we have left. All right. So very good participation from Javon so far. All right. So we have completed that question. We're going to move on to our part B, our second question in the series of 3 questions, I believe, or 4. Wow, 4 questions. All right. So can somebody read this further question for me, please? Indra, you want to read for me, please? Part B, keep you awake. Indra, are you there?
Well, actually,
All right, go Alexi, go ahead. Go ahead and read, Lexi. All right, not here.
a ship leaves port A and sails 52 kilometers and a bearing of 44 degrees to port B. The ship then 72 kilometers away on the bearing of 105 degrees.
Okay. All right, good. All right. So remember though, even though, I mean, you could draw it to scale, all right? Always remember that, you draw it to scale. So the first part of the question, however, requires us to, on the diagram below, not draw the scale, label the known distances traveled and the known angles. So it's our ship leaves port A and sails 52 kilometers. So we have port A right here. So we have port A. So port A is right here. Good. And they sailed 52 kilometers at a bearing of 44 degrees to port B. So it is very important to draw the north line again. So let's draw the north line right there. So it says, let me make sure we have the north line in the correct place first of all. So our ship leaves port A, sails 52 kilometers on a bearing of 044 degrees to port B. Port B, right? So it's coming from A to port B. And then the ship changes course to sail to port C, 72 kilometers away on a bearing of 105 degrees. So they wanted to draw the thingy. So let's draw it. Now that's not straight enough. So let me see if I can get it straighter. Let me use this double arrow here. So let's good. This is our knot line. Good. And the bearing will be right here. So you put your 44 degrees right here. And then of course the distance, which is 52 kilometers right here. And then now the ship then changes course to sail to Port C. Kilometer away. So it changes course. That means it leaves Port B to Port C. Good. So draw another north line at B. And then now our other bearing from B to C is right here, which is 105. And then our distance is 72 kilometers. Sorry, not centimeters, kilometers, sorry. Did anybody attempt this?
Yes, sir. I did it.
And you got the correct?
No.
I feel so.
But you should have been looking at. So you could just see. So should have been looking at.
Repeat, sir.
You should have been looking at me in front of you, so you shouldn't seem so.
I am looking at it right now.
They said seem so. They said seem so. All right.
I said
Okay. Right. No, so that's how it's supposed to look, right? Now it's determine the measure of angle ABC. So they want, normally the middle letter is the angle itself, right? So they want to find the angle B itself. Now there's an easy way to find angle B. Can somebody tell me without using the protractor? Can somebody tell me what's the easy way to find angle B? And angle B would be the angle right here. The different color. Angle B would be the angle right here.
Sir, the angle is 44.
because it's 6.
Yeah, it is a, it's a
Wait, hold on, Makeda. Let Tracy finish first. Yeah, go ahead, Makeda. Go ahead, Tracy. Sorry.
All right. When I say the angle is 44, the angle on the outside is a parallel line. So look on it. So the angle on the outside match with the one inside. And when I check it, it is making a circle. Right here. So to find the next angle, you're gonna add up the angle you're getting here. So the 44 plus the 104.
All right, so I heard your response, Tracy, not bad so far. So Tracy mentioned the fact you have two parallel lines right here. Good. Very good attempt right there. So therefore, what Tracy is saying then, we can find the angle right here. Am I correct, Tracy? That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Good. Because when you, the sum of the interior angles between two parallel lines is 180 degrees. So what that means then, to find the angle right here, we can then subtract, sorry, my bad on that one. We can then subtract the 44 degrees from the 180. And that would give us 136 degrees. So the angle right here is 136 degrees. So we can then find angle B now, because this, you get a circle all the way right here. Everybody see that? Everybody sees that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So if we add the 136 now, plus the 105, so the next step then is to add the 136 plus the 105. (136 plus 105) give you 241. And you're going to take that 241 now and subtract it from the 360 degrees. Then you'd have gotten your answer for angle B. So 360 minus 241. So therefore our answer is equal to 119 degrees. So this angle right here is 119 degrees. So very good thinking so far. So you have to make use of, you have to, a question like this, students, gives you a lot of marks towards reasoning, because it requires a lot of reasoning right here. So if you want to get that mark, that passing grade, I would encourage you to practice to do your bearing questions. Very important, especially from your textbook. Don't stop until you master it. All right, because when you go into the exam, you want to get as much marks as you can from the paper. So right here then, you use the knowledge about sum of interior angles between parallel lines. You solve it. Then we can now use your eyes and recognize that you have two angles out of 360. When you add the two of them, you subtract it from the 360 and you get the angle right there. So that's good. Did anybody get that correct? Anyone got that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. You got it correct, Makeda?
Yes, sir.
Good. Awesome. Awesome sauce.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
we never do all of that.
What did you do? What did you do?
First, I minus the 180 from the 105 degrees. And the answer that I got, I add it by 44, I should say, and we get 190.
Okay, then. All right. Okay. All right. So we did part 1, did part 2. So we're going to go to part 3 now. All right. Let's go to part 3 now. So part 3 says, calculate to the nearest kilometer the distance AC. Distance AC. So we have 119 degrees here. This is what, 50, what is it? It's 72 right here, right?
Yes, sir.
And what was the length right here again? Could you remind me, please?
52 kilometers.
52? All right.
Yes, sir.
So now they're asking us to find length AC, which is right here. Call it X. Now, which trigonometrical principle will we use right here? Nastasia is in the house. She give us the right answer again. Get an answer from YouTube as well.
Oh,
What was that? What was that, Tracy?
cost me was sermon on it, right?
COS? Is COS they call it?
Yes,
COS.
sir.
All right, remember now, you can only use the trig ratios with right angle triangles. You can only use the trig ratios with right angle triangles. So it would not be any of the trig ratios. Ah, so Makeda says we're going to use a cosine rule. Very good, Makeda. Excellent, 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 excellent. Good. Wonderful. So we use a cosine rule then to find the value of x. So once you're able to identify which rule that you're going to say, the first thing you have to look at, and this is, it comes with practice. It comes with practice when you're going forward. You have to practice. This thing comes with a lot of practice, right? So then, okay, all right. So we're going to go back to this situation and say, all right, what do we do from here then? What do we do from here? So x squared will start off. Good. I'm just going to write it as it is. So 5 squared, 52 squared, plus 72 squared, minus 52 times 72 times, let me write it properly. So it can be plain and clear. So let's type it out. So you know it's going to be x squared, right? Which is equal to 52, and the asterisks mean multiply. Asterisk times 72, and this is square, minus 2, and we was in brackets, 52, close bracket, open bracket again, 72, close bracket, and of course, cos of 103. No, 109, sorry. 119 rather. All right. So remember now, that is that. So let's put on the squares. It's much easier. So square of that, and x squared right there. Good. So x squared is equal to 52 squared times 72 squared minus 2 times 52 times 72 cos 119. All right. So before you can even go any further, you still would have to know what rule you're going to use. Right? Very important. You still have to identify which rule that you're going to be using. All right. So then, so we have to know what, right, find out what 52 squared is. What is 52 squared equal to? Let's work this part out first. So 52 times 52 give us 2,704. Times 704. Give me a second there, please. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So let's now find the square of 72 now. So 72 times 72 give us 5,000. And sorry, this is supposed to be addition, not multiplication. And nobody couldn't correct me.
Sorry, you know what I mean? Plus 72 minus 11 up on your board.
No, but you shouldn't correct me. You shouldn't correct me. It's supposed to be plus right here, so not multiplication. Plus. What you shouldn't correct me?
I'm writing 72 squares 514.
No man, you're supposed to correct me from that one. Nobody saw it. The mistake I made right there. So plus 5,184. Right? And you're going to work out the other side now. It would be nice to work out cost 19 so you can multiply straight across as well. So work out the cost of 119. So you could work out the cost of 119. Much more easier to work that out first. And that will be minus 0. Let's call it 0.5 if you want to run it off to one decimal place quickly. So that would be 0.5. So you could say minus 2 times 52 bracket, close bracket, 72. And then you got to put the cost of 119 and we're going to run it off to one decimal place and call it 0.5. Right? So you multiply everything across now. Everything across. So 2 times 52 times 72 times 0.5. And that will give us 3,000. Hold on here. Let's make sure. 2 times 52 times 72 times 0.5. And that's going to be a positive. And why is it a positive? Because I have a negative 2 here and a negative minus 0.5. So that then will equals to what you're going to have now is 2,704 plus 5,184 plus 3,744. And what's that equal to? We'll add up all that now. And remember now, it's x squared equal all this now. Don't forget. Don't forget to add up everything now. So it is 2,704 plus 5,184 plus 3,744. And that is 11,632. So x squared is equal to 11,622. So x squared is equal to 11,632. Now our answer is not yet, we have not arrived at the answer because this is x squared and we want x. Now to find the value of x now, we have to find the square root now of the 11,000. So we have to find the square root of the 11,000. So let's just quickly go right here. The square root x therefore is equal to the square root of 11,632. Let's go through that. So put in our square root symbol, 11,632. And therefore our answer is 107.9, the one decimal place. 107.9 kilometer to one decimal place. Did anyone get that answer? Anybody got that answer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who got that answer?
Yes, sir.
Lexi got that answer. Anyone got that answer as well?
I got that answer as well. So.
Makeda, okay, very good. Before I worked it out, or before today, or today you got it?
Yes, sir. Before today, I got the answer. I did it before.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. The reason why I'm asking these questions is because I want to make sure that persons have been following the instruction and that you're benefiting from following the instruction. All right. All right, so we found the distance of AC now. We found what we're supposed to find. So let's go to the final part of that question. The final part of that question says, show the bearing of A from C to the nearest degree, 260 degrees. So it says show that the bearing of A from C, the bearing of A from C to the nearest degree is 260 degrees. So we start at C. So put our, again, let us put our line. Put our north line at C.
So you realize they didn't give us the answer, they just want us to give them a solution or we get it?
Yes, basically that is it. Tracy, you have to show them how that you're correct. All right. So we need to find this angle here. From here, coming around to here. That's what they wanted to find. Good. Let's make sure of that. Yes. Bearing of A from C. Good. So the question is then, how are we going to find that? Any answer?
Go back to the question, please.
Go back to the question. Lexi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it says to show that the bearing of A from C to the nearest degree is 260 degrees. What would you do to show that?
Sir, the sine rule, sir.
You use the sine rule. What did you use the sine rule to do, Makeda?
We find the degrees, sir, the bearing of A to C. Oh, we get the answer for 26 degrees. 260 degrees.
So how did you use the sine rule? That's the question.
Sir, honestly, I just look on the previous question and then I said, honestly. I look at 1A with the 3 eyes. I look on that question and said, okay, try the sine rule. I'm not sure because yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's look at the way. Anybody have a different situation? All right. We got this angle earlier, didn't we? Did we get this angle earlier?
Yes.
What was the angle right here that we got? Angle.
They give us it 44.
Was it 44? No, it wasn't 44. No, it wasn't 44. No.
You're not getting the angle inside.
No.
It's just the outside.
Those are outside, yes. Those are outside.
Yeah.
So okay. So let's look at it now. Let's look at the angles that we had. So you have to first look at the angles that we have first, we're working with. All right. Well, this angle was 119. Agree? That's what we got. 119. Talk to me, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. And the bearing right here was 105.
Yes, sir.
105. Good. And then now, 105. So we can find the angle right here too. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Mhm. So what's the angle right here?
105.
That camera 105.
75. I say 75.
75.
Yeah.
Good. That's a 75. All right. No. So did we find the angle for this one? Did we?
No,
Yeah,
no.
it's a 52.
No, sir.
It's a 72. All right, our phone, this. What's the length for this again? 100 and what? What's the length of the phone for this again? What was the length for AC again? Tell me, please, so I can write it in. What's the length for AC?
107.9.
107.9.
Yes, it is.
Okay, then. Thank you. All right. So you said you'd use a sine rule, right? Okay. All right. Could use the sine rule to find this angle. That's true. That's true. And then now we can find this angle afterwards. And then we'll just do the maths. All right. Okay. So let's say then 72 over the sine of what you want to call it. Sine A. Right, Makeda? Makeda.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
72.
Good. And then we use now this one, 107.9 divided by the sine of what? The sine of 119. Okay, good. So we can use the sine rule then to find this angle right here. All right, makes sense. That makes sense. All right. That makes sense. All right, so here we go now. All right, so let's go now. So multiply now sine 19 by 72. So let's find what sine 19 is first. Somebody write it down for me quickly. The sine of 119, that's 0.87. So let's put right here, 0.87. Good. And multiply that 0.87 by 72. 0.87 multiplied by 72. That is 62.64. 62.64. So sine A. So we have, let's put our another answer right here. 62. Let's write that properly. 62. We have to go to bed shortly. So 62.64. All right. Now that 62.64 now would have to be divided now by 107.9. So let's divide that. So that's 62 divided by 107.9, and that will equal to 0.58. All right, that answer right here, 0.5. Let me write a meter. 0.58. And then, of course, to find angle A, we're going to find the sine inverse of 0.58. All right. So the sine inverse of it of 0.58, and that will equal to 35.5. So therefore the angle is 35.5 degrees right here. So it's 35, let's put it right here, 35.5 degrees. So we have that angle now. So now we can find the angle right here by adding that to the 119. Everybody following so far? Everybody following so far? So we'll add the 119 now to this angle. We'll get what? 154.5. Now we have to take that now from the 180 degrees now to find that corner angle right there. Let's see how much we get. There's so much maths in this thing, yeah? Enough maths. So 180 minus 154.5. And therefore that is now equals to 25.5 degrees. All right, so now we can find our answer now. You can find the answer now. All right, now to find that answer now, we have to add, we have to now take the one, we have the 75 degrees right here. I'll add that 75 degrees to the 25.5. We're going to take that now from 360. And let's see what happens right here. So 75 plus 25.5 will give us 100.5. Right? 100.5. Then 360 now minus 100. What is 100? 0.5. It's a 295.5, which is approximately 260 degrees CME. So yes, so Makeda was correct in choosing the sine rule to find this angle. And then we use the other information we gathered to find this angle right here. The other information we gathered to find this angle right here, add them, subtract it from 360, and it would have shown how we got that 260. So it would have worked out back to 259.5, which is approximately 260 degrees. So that, if you got that approach correct, then yes, you are indeed correct. All right. Well, it's a lot of maths covered right here, and I think that's too much information now. I don't want to overload. I don't want to create information overload. For those persons who did not get that, you can go back to the YouTube channel, of course, and of course, watch it to see exactly what to do and how to do it. All right, so I think that we can stop here for tonight. We have completed a full question tonight, indeed, and the other part. So in our next session, we're going to wrap up this type of question. And I know persons are looking forward to see how they would have done part B of this question here. And then would have had another 3 questions to do. So we have 1, 2, 3 questions left for a series of trigonometry questions. And we have time to wrap it up. So of course, we will get into that class. I'll let you know when. So just keep working on the worksheets when I send them out. I hope you have been working, but good job for those persons who had completed that question and got a few of them correct. All right. Which other videos had helped you, Makeda? Makeda?
Sir,
Was it videos or was my videos?
sir, honestly, I watched the alternative videos, sir.
Okay, no problem. They're shorter.
Because yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And they helped.
Yes, sir.
Okay, not a
And
problem.
while I was doing the questions, and I wasn't getting the answers. I like watch it over back, and then I asked myself, talking to myself, how me I get it, how me I get it. So I started to feel frustrated, yes. And then I close the book, and then I start over back again.
Okay, but I like that testimony. I like that testimony. So it boils down to not giving up at all, and she was able to be victorious. So what it requires of you now is to do constant practicing. Just keep practicing so we can get the marks for this. Practice on areas of weakness, and she did. She went back and watched the video a second time, and I guess eventually she was able to get it. So you would have heard from her. So technically, therefore, you need not to worry. Don't worry. Just keep working. The exam might be even easier than you thought. So just keep working and don't give up, and I'm sure that you will be successful in your exams. We really want to get more than 50% this time. We want to get over 50% from here, and I'm looking forward to get a high score from Holy Trinity High School as well. So let us make use of our opportunity we have here. As I said before, please look out for the multiple choice questions that will be coming this week. I had some other engagement, that's why I didn't get to put them out for last week, but definitely this week you'll be getting your multiple choice questions to start work on in your live worksheet workbook. All right, so that's a wrap for tonight. Did this session benefit anybody else in the class? Did this session benefit anybody else in the class?
So it benefits me, yeah. Sorry, it benefited me.
Okay. All right. Now, it can only benefit everybody if you did try to do the work at first. If you didn't try to do the work, well, you don't know where you went wrong and why you went wrong. So I'm going to, if you didn't finish the other work questions, you still have an opportunity to finish it so you can be engaged for the next class round. I'm not going to beg you to do it. This is for your own good, to get mathematics out of the way. All right. All right. So that's a wrap. Good night, folks. Take care and have yourselves a good night. And remember to pray before you go to bed. I'm pleased to, we just got a bit of news. I asked you to pray for Nastasia's, I think, uncle, and of course her friend. So please bear them up in your prayers. God knows exactly what happened, and of course Nastasia, our prayers are with you, and ensure that you pray to, and just there's a song that says stand still and let God move. I'm here wondering if I'm sick because I don't know if I'm losing my teeth or what, but I hope not. So pray for me too, that I will not develop such situation and so forth. All right, have yourselves a good night. And folks, don't kill yourselves too much if trigonometry is not your pet peeve, but try to ensure that you master measurements. Try to save you. I'll look to see if I can put together a measurement one as well, but try to master the other ones that you receive, so you can go in there to do at least four or five questions. And the thing about it is that they put the questions together, the areas together. So try to do everything that I give you to do. All right. So if there's no question, should I go now? Can I go now? May I go now? Should I go now? All right.
Good night, sir.
All right. Good night.
Excuse me, Nick. Don't know if you remember me.
That's so like hey, that's great, right?
Yes, sir.
How could I forget?
How are you? How are you?
Not bad, sir. Not bad. Not bad.
Hope you've been well.
Yes, man. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for visiting. Yeah, what a surprise. Lexi, what a surprise. Okay, the good times in the online long time, brother.
Not really like the past 15
Okay,
years, just trying to see what's going on. Yeah.
All right. So
If I had known, I'd have joined for like a 1 day because I spent the entire day today doing integrated maths, studying integrated maths, practicing.
okay.
But just like Lexi, I'm just like Lexi, I'm doing over the CXC math because I wasn't really happy with the grade.
Okay. We want to improve on that grade that you got last year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's not a problem. That sounds good. All right, that sounds very good. All right, I wish you all the best. That was it.
Thanks very much.
All right, take care. All right,
It's the same to you.
all right, I'll see you answer that question. Okay, that's the second. All right,
Good night, sir.
just want to say good night again to our YouTube viewers, and thank you very much for Javon for participating. Of course, Sue Leng from Holy Trinity for participating. And I saw that Nastasia went there and participated as well. So just want to say a pleasant good night to you. Remember to subscribe if you did not subscribe before. Please to subscribe and share the link next time. And walk good, pray, and God will be with you. Take care. This is goodbye from CDPLABS Eduservices. I am your host, Ronique Bernard. Let us end this stream.
They're ready for me?
Not yet. Let me just end the stream properly first.
Okay.